Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. You might know me from my meal prep videos and my what I eat in the day videos. So I have decided to do a Nurse Chronicles. So these stories are fiction. They are entertainment purposes only. These are just to make you guys laugh. There is no real patients. There is no HIPAA violations. I just want that said right now. These are just stories and just funny little anecdotes that, nurses might think in their head, or it might be a little blooper a doctor did or something like that. Entertainment purposes only. That being said, let's hear some stories. All right, first thing. This is probably why I decided that I would do this, even though I thought it would be a bad idea because I didn't want nobody coming after me about HIPAA and talking about residents or whatever. But I had my steroid and my Toradol shot today, and I got a script for tramadol for my back. So my first story is about that today. I have a high pain tolerance with the fibro. I'm constantly in pain. There is always something that hurts or whatever. So I have a high pain tolerance. So the doctor today asked me what my pain level is. And I was like a 5. And she kind of looks at me and I'm like, I am saving 10 for something good. Like I got shot, I lost a limb, over like 50% of my body is burned or something like that. And she looks at me. I'm like, hey, I got goals. And she starts laughing at me. And she goes, okay, so what's the worst pain that you've ever had? And I said, hands down, kidney stones. I said, kidney stones is like an 8. Childbirth is like 7. This is like a 5. And she was like, oh, she goes, most of my patients are like 10 out of 10. I'm like, no. You misunderstand, ma'am. I said, it hurts. I said, but body part gone, 50% burns over my body, or I've been shot. Because I imagine being shot is going to hurt like a mother. Okay. And I'm not talking like a flesh wound or whatever, like shot. Like my ass is shot. Okay. Like that's what we're going for. So anyway, so she's like, okay. So she does all these things and, she's pressing on my back because doctors love to do that. Tell me where it hurts. Let me poke it. Okay. Let me poke it and then poke it again and ask you if it hurts when I say, ow. Oh, did that hurt? Yes. No, I just randomly say ow. So anyway, so she's like, well, we can't get you in for like 2 to 3 weeks. It depends on your insurance. Story of my damn life. So I'm like, fine. So she's like, well, you seem to be in a lot of pain. Let me give you a shot. Now, I've had the shot before. I've had the steroid shot and I've had the tramadol shot, and it's kind of like a patch to get you to the injection in your back. So now I was supposed to have an injection in December so that I stayed on track with getting my injection in my back every 6 months. Well, we got COVID in the building. Me being a responsible person was like, I don't want to be that dumb twat that goes to the doctor's office when I have COVID, or not that I have COVID, but I'm around people that have COVID, and give it to your whole entire damn office and everybody that comes in there, because I'm not mean. I'm not stupid. Anyway, if you're a nurse, you know my pain on this one. So I'm like, okay, so I missed my appointment. Then we got COVID cleared out of the building, made sure everybody was okay. Nobody had any symptoms. So now I make my appointment. Well, now my appointment can't be until later. And they're like, well, since you missed your appointment and has been past 6 months, you have to make a doctor's appointment. So I make the doctor's appointment. So they're like, well, you can have these 2 shots. Okay. We'll do this. I remember what it felt like the last time I got these 2 shots. And when I told you about my pain scale before, it was for this reason. I am not a wimp at all by any means. Not a wimp. That steroid shot literally feels like they are shooting molten hot lava into your damn arm. Like my bone literally felt like it was melting. Okay, just fire melting. Then she gives me the tramadol shot. I mean, at that point, what could possibly hurt with that, right? Didn't feel that one at all. So the nurse is like, first she comes in, she's like, you want your arm or your butt? Why would I ever do that to my ass? Why, in all that is holy, would I do that to my butt? I'm like, no, I have to sit on my butt. And I'm like, and I have to sit on my butt to get home through, I'm not going to say rush hour because it annoys me when people say rush hour. If you are moving at 30 miles an hour, it is not rush hour. Rush hour. Honey, go live in Chicago where you can literally sit at a standstill for 30 minutes. That is rush hour. But it would take an extended period of time to get home. And I'm like, I am not going to sit on my burning ass while I go home. And I know I'm going to be stuck in traffic where instead of doing 65, 70, I might be doing 30. I'm like, no. And then I'm like, And then I have meetings tomorrow. So I'm going to be sitting tomorrow. And I know my butt's still going to hurt tomorrow. So I'm like, no. We'll do the arm. Okay. And she's like, well, let me get you an ice pack. And I'm like, really? Does that help? She goes, oh, yeah, I do this all the time. She goes, but normally I take my shot in my ass and then I just sit on the ice pack. And I'm like, okay, gotta love her. So she gives me the shots and literally, I'm telling you, as they are injecting it, it is this warm seeping heat that just gets hotter and hotter. And you feel like your veins are full of molten lava. Okay. So she gets me the ice pack and she's screwing around with it and shoving it in there, getting it down there, whatever. So we get into the car. I call my best friend who had just been there earlier that day because she got a cancellation appointment. So she got there before me. Otherwise, her appointment was 2 weeks from now. And tell her that I got the molten lava. So she's laughing at me. My husband is laughing at me. I look at my husband. I was like, you've never had to do this, so you don't get to laugh. My best friend, she can laugh all she wants because she just had it 30 minutes ago. Or, no, she had hers a couple hours before me or whatever. So anyway, so we finally get home. The Toradol makes me so tired. And the steroids make me so hungry. Everybody pray for me that the 6 pounds that I have managed to lose, I do not gain back by eating everything in the house. I would eat the goddamn wallpaper if it had sauce on it. Like, that's how hungry it makes me. Hey, and then guess what? As soon as my insurance improves it and I get the corticosteroid right in my back, I get to do this all over again. Except for I will be red from the steroid shot for 2 days afterwards, like sitting there with a personal fan on my face because I'm red. So you get to see that in a couple of weeks too. But anyway, I figure I'd share my misery with you on that one. And then I just got my prescription for the Tramadol. So I've had one of those. So I'm feeling pretty good right now. No pain. Like I could literally stand up and sit down. And guess what? No pain. I couldn't do that 2 hours ago without going, oh my God. So, progress, people. Progress. Worth the molten hot lava? Yes. Worth the molten hot lava. Now, that is the end of that story. It took me about 7 minutes. We got time for one more. We'll do one more story. This will be a good one too. All right, this one is another story from a couple of years ago when I first moved here. So the facility I currently work at, I started as the nurse on the floor, and then our DON quit, and they hired a DON, which is director of nursing. And I was asked to be the assistant director of nursing. So I took the job, and after about 2 months, the DON walked out and quit effective immediately, and I was made as the acting DON. When I was made the acting DON, the administrator literally came to me with the previous plan of correction. And if you guys don't know what that means, state comes in once a year, figures out what you're doing wrong, gives you a list of the crap that you did wrong, and tells you to fix it. Well, we were in our survey window because this was, March. Survey previous had happened in July. He gives me this book. Not one single thing had been fixed for all the previous tags that they had had the year before, and there was 28 of them. Just to give you a little preview. Okay. So, and I'd been working with my administrator for a while. We actually liked each other very, very much. We had a really good relationship going on. Very respectful, very open and honest with one another. So a couple months go on, and him and I are working together to get all of this done. And I haven't been in Nevada that long. I think at this point, I've been in Nevada 6 months. Okay. When I moved from Nevada, I brought all of my medicines and all this stuff with me. So I probably had like 3 bottles of Midol or whatever. Well, after being here for a little bit, I ran out of Midol. So I go to the store and all there is Pamprin. And I don't know, maybe Pamprin works for y'all. It does not work for me. It's like pissing on a fire. So I have no Midol. I am trying to do this period without Midol. I can feel as the hours go by the B word just rising and rising. So I go to work, and now my husband is back in Illinois getting ready to bring down another shipment. I call him, tell him his ass better not come back to Nevada without some Midol because I can't find it anywhere in the state of Nevada. I went to Walgreens, CVS's, I went to Walmart, I went to the damn Albertsons, I went to Smith's. I had to have gone to 8 different stores. Couldn't find Midol. Okay, couldn't find it. Just couldn't find it. So I go to work, fuming. The biatch is up to here, okay? Like, I know I'm angry. Okay. So we go to stand up, which is our morning meeting. And one of the guys comes in, he's like, good morning. And I'm like, what the fuck is so good about it? And he looks at me and I'm like, what? Administrator's looking at me and I'm like, what? They literally could have walked me out of the building and told me I was fired. And I would have been like, all right, peace. And I wouldn't have cared. So we get done with the morning meeting. I am just a raunchy bitch. Like snarky comments, whatever. So I go back to my office. My administrator comes with me. He closes the door and he's like, what is going on? And I said, do you really want to know? I said, do you really want to know? And he was like, yeah. He's like, what is going on? He's like, I've never seen you like this. And I'm like, what is wrong with this state? And he was like, what? And I'm like, does this state not believe in Midol? Does this state not produce Midol? Does this state not get Midol delivered? I was like, all I can find is Pamprin, and Pamprin is like pissing on a fire. I'm like, where is the Midol in this state? And he's like, oh. He's like, okay. He's like, okay. He's like, calm down. He's like, do you need chocolate? And I looked at him and I was like, no, I need Midol. And I can feel my head splitting open and this little demon coming out because the man had the nerve to ask me if I wanted chocolate. Like, and I swear to God, I probably sounded like a demon. I was like, no, Midol. Okay. This man has got balls of steel. Okay. Balls of steel. So he's like, I want you to lock the door and don't answer the door. Pretend you're not here. If somebody knocks, he's like, I will be back. So God bless this man. He leaves, goes to the CVS that's down the street, asks them to get him the Midol, and even got me chocolate, even though I said I didn't want it. Comes back, opens my office door because he has a key, waves the Midol like a white surrender flag. So I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I love you. Where did you find it? You know, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, first things first. He's like, take the Midol. So I take the Midol or whatever. And I'm like, okay, 30 minutes. I'm like, it'll kick in. I'll be fine. He goes, okay. He's like, for the next 30 minutes, he's like, I just want you to stay in this office. He's like, I don't want you to talk to anybody or anything like that. And then, you know, so we're having this conversation or whatever. And I'm still full on just demons still popping out. Okay. He says something and I just fired a snarky comment right back at him. Well, he was eating a piece of candy and he was choking. I literally stared at him like, and so he's trying to open my door so he can get out. And he's still laughing, mind you. Now, y'all, he's breathing, okay? He's breathing. Like, everybody chill the hell out, okay? He's breathing. He's coughing. He's breathing, okay? So he opens the door and he's like coughing. Everyone's like, oh my God, are you okay? And so finally he can talk. He's like, you were going to let me die. And I said, you're damn right I was. I said, you could pass out on my floor. I said, I'd have opened the damn door. And I said, I'd made sure I hit your ass with it. And then I would have walked to the desk and I would have been like, yeah, that dumbass had the nerve to die in my office today. And I said, and I would have kept right on walking. And so now he's laughing and dying more and everybody else is dying and laughing. So he was like, okay. He's like, go to your office. He's like, go hide for 30 minutes. Literally, I went in my office and I'm working and I can feel the demon closing back in and I can literally feel it going like this. And then my conscience kicks in and I'm like, Oh, I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I am probably lucky I didn't get fired. I'm probably lucky that I have a administrator who has a daughter who has similar problems, where he literally keeps Midol and chocolate in his medicine cabinet for her at home, because that's what he told me later on when I went to go apologize. So I go and see the one guy that had come in and said good morning, and the next day stand up, I apologize to everybody or whatever. This is literally this man's favorite story, to tell everybody he meets. When him and I go out together and we meet somebody, he has to tell them this story. Has to tell them the story. And, love the man to death. And we had a great working relationship, and we still talk to this day, even though he's not the administrator of the building. But yeah, I mean, before the Midol, I literally could have been fired and would have walked out and been like, yeah, I don't give a shit. And I would have worried about the aftermath later, after the raging hormonal demon had gone back to sleep. So those are my two nursing stories for now. And next week, I will do some more actual nursing stories, patients, stuff like that, to entertain you guys. But I figured I would start with a couple about myself for this week. All right, guys, that wraps up Nurse Chronicles episode 1. And I will get another one out next week, and we'll see how you guys like it. If you guys like it, comment down below and let me know. If you have a particular thing that you want a story about, like, I don't know, like a particular incident or something, I probably have one in my arsenal. But I am wearing my appropriate shirt. It says, "We're all mad here." And I think you have to be a little bit crazy to be a nurse, because we deal with some crazy stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first 2 stories, and I hope you return for more stories. I'll talk to you guys later.